Nikki, the poet.
And I'm Kenzie, the boudoir photographer. So yeah, we're here in my studio right now.
A brand new studio.
Woo! I just finished it a few weeks ago. That's my dog. I've had a few
making appearances in the video.
He's really cute. He's just very needy. But anyways, I've had about 2 official shoots in here so far, and I'm really loving it. So we decided to do this video in the studio because it looks so nice.
Yes.
Hello, Nigel.
So why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Like I said, my name is Kenzie. I'm mainly a boudoir and wedding photographer, and if you've watched Mickey's other videos, they did a video, sorry. I'm literally the worst with pronouns. They did a video a few weeks ago where they came into my studio and did a boudoir session, and to kind of recap on what boudoir is, it's usually, but not always, women that come in, or those who identify as women, to do basically sexy photo shoots. It's usually with lingerie. It can also be nude. It's a very empowering shoot. It's not only just for, you know, your husband to see. It can be just for yourself, something to get that.
Which is what I did. Like I said in my last video, I did it for myself.
Yeah, exactly. When they applied, I got really excited because I've been wanting to do like an androgynous shoot for a while now, and I was like, hey, I need you to come in my studio and do this. And so that's basically what we did.
So had you ever worked with somebody that wasn't cisgender before, or was that like your first time?
But as a client, like officially coming in, I know you're a model call, but like, you know, clients, no, you were actually the first person to come in, and I myself identify as non-binary, and I'm just now, in these past few weeks, coming out to everyone. I've identified for about 2 years now. I decided that I wanted to start using they pronouns, and pronouns are really hard. When people misgender me, sometimes I miss it, so I apologize in advance. Pronouns are difficult, but they need to be made a mental effort to be done, and that's a big thing in boudoir. If someone comes into your studio, like do not misgender them.
Definitely.
Yeah, like that's a big no-no.
So how did you think it's different shooting like a cisgender person from like a non-binary person?
So I was actually kind of thinking about this earlier and like how I kind of would respond. So with a cisgender person, especially like a cis woman, that's, you know, the majority of my clients, if not almost all of them, you know, they come in and they want to be in lingerie or naked or whatever, and we have the usual like girly poses that we do where, you know, they push out the boobs and they push out the butt and they're like, you know, like that. But with your session, I really had to think before I did it and think to myself like, you know, I need to maybe go in the middle, like make it a little more masculine, but still a little bit of femininity, like just, you know, a really big gray area basically. And so I tried out some new poses. I did some regular poses, but because of what you were wearing, it made it more masculine, more androgynous.
Because I wore like boxers and like sports bras.
Yeah, exactly that. I told them when they came in, like, hey, wear sports bras. Like, we didn't have any structured bras or anything like that. Nothing to like push up the boobs or, you know, whatever. And all of your pants were like boxers. What were the special boxers that you had?
So I wear a lot of tomboy boxers, and they're really like good for like unisex, like anybody can wear them, and that's my favorite company to get boxers from. But I wear like Fruit of the Loom boxers sometimes too, just because those are like cheap and comfy.
I definitely wanted them to wear something that was not going to cause them dysphoria in any way, and that's a big thing. Like if you're a boudoir photographer, like you definitely do not want to make your clients feel dysphoric or anything like that, because they don't want to fit in a box of, you know, male or female. If they're non-binary, they could be anywhere in between, and you basically have to feel out what is right for them and what they want. Communication is important. Like, just never assume anything. Even with someone that's like strictly just transgender, like they might want to present in still androgynous way, but you don't know unless you ask. So that was like a big thing I needed to make make sure that like you were okay with what I had in mind.
Yeah, I'm non-binary, but I feel like I lean more towards the masculine side, like most of the time. But I still have like my really feminine days sometimes, where like I want to wear dresses and like wear a bunch of makeup and stuff.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing is like I was talking with my roommate Olivia, who also does YouTube videos. Livy's Little Life, I think, is the name of her channel. Subscribe to her as well.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She was like, it doesn't look like you're trying to seduce anybody. It looks like you're like just saying, you want me, but you can't have me. Like,
I love that. Oh my
you
god.
can look, but you can't touch. And I'm like, that is literally what I was
Oh
going
my god, that's awesome. I didn't even know that she said that. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the feel I was going for. And like, honestly, in all my sessions, I try to have that like playful, sexy undertone, like you can look, but you can't touch, like type of thing. So yeah, that's cool to hear.
You first started questioning your gender. How did you first like come to the conclusion that you thought you were non-binary?
Oh boy, so I started all my life, and I didn't really know that I was having it at the time, but I've always had just like a little bit of dysphoria with like certain things. So like growing up, I hated the color pink, like, and I know that colors don't have gender anyway, but it was such like a, you're a girl, you need to wear pink, and I was like, no. Exactly. I always played with the boys. I played with like trucks and cars growing up. I never really liked Barbies or anything like that. And when I started going through puberty, I like had these, like, I tried to suppress the thoughts of like liking anyone that wasn't a cis male, I guess. So I was very promiscuous, actually. I only did that with guys. Like, I only dated guys. Like, I had fooled around with girls, but I only like dated guys. And then senior year, I was always, you know, kind of a tomboy. And senior year, I kind of started questioning, but I really wasn't sure. And then I got into college and I really started questioning. So my second year in college, I started identifying as pansexual. Like, I was actually at a Christian university at the time, and so I only told.
Yeah, we both. I don't know if you're comfortable with me saying the name.
It's fine.
We both went to Lee, and that not really the easiest place to like come out in.
Yeah. So that had to be kept on the deal. I had a lot of friends who were LGBT, and we just kind of were like shush about it. But apparently, like, someone outed me because someone told me that like one of the most like popular people in the School of Music at the time knew that I was like pansexual, but I just always tried to pass and hide it real well. And then my second to last year of college, I started to like really get gender dysphoria, but it was only bottom dysphoria. It was never like top dysphoria. But basically, like, if I wear a sports bra, like if I'm having top dysphoria, which hardly ever happens, like that helps with that.
Right.
I don't do binders or anything. I really don't ever want top surgery. If I were to ever do it, it would be bottom surgery. But I was dating my now husband at the time, and he kind of like helped me through it. He didn't really know what was happening. I didn't know what was happening to me. It was really weird, and I didn't like it. Throughout my whole life, my testosterone has always been higher, and I've always had lower estrogen. I just kind of see it as that's the way my body wants to be, and I shouldn't try to fight that or change it, because every time I've tried to change that, my body's like, no. So
have you tried to take like medicine in the past to like change that, or?
Yeah, and actually the dysphoria hit, and I knew that it was actually like dysphoria. I got some blood work done that summer, and they were like, your testosterone is like through the roof, we need to get this down, your estrogen's really low, your progesterone is like super low. And I was like, oh, okay. So they put me on some, it wasn't like birth control, it was like natural like supplements. And they were like, oh yeah, take these, it'll naturally raise your estrogen. And I was like, okay, great. And so I started taking them, and my body was just like, no. And in that process, I feel like everything that I was like suppressing just kind of resurfaced, and was like, my body was telling me, hey, like, I don't want to be super feminine or super masculine, like I'm just okay just being in the middle here. I got off that and have been fine, but every time I've tried to do a natural way of like raising estrogen, because like I do want to have kids someday.
And, like, if too high testosterone, can that like hurt your chances of having kids?
Yeah, it can cause PCOS, it can cause, I think it's called CAH, I don't really know much about that, but right now I'm in the process of getting tested for PCOS. I already have low thyroid, so my
Same.
hormones, yeah, oh well, there we go. My hormones are kind of all out of whack. And it's kind of sad because like my mom, like she will never ask me, she'll always wait for me to like admit it to her, but I think that she's kind of, in her brain, she doesn't really know that non-binary exists, so I feel like she's like, is my daughter thinking about being a trans man? Like, I feel like that's what she's like thinking right now, but a few weeks ago, she was like, oh, well, everything is equated to hormones, and your hormones, the damn shampoo, God. She was like, if you use the wrong kind of shampoo, like, it can make your hormones out of right. Okay, Mom, like, all right.
It's like that meme where it's like the frogs have the chemicals, like frogs turn gay.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much what it was, and I was like, okay, Mom, no. My body, no matter what shampoo I've used, no matter what diet I've used, no matter what medicine I've been on, I've always had high testosterone, always had low estrogen. And for the most part, my body is healthy being like that, so I don't have an issue trying to
Yeah, if it's
change
healthy
that.
being like that, I don't really think you should like try to change that, because that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you've watched my previous videos, I've made a couple videos about Turner syndrome, and so I was just very gender neutral from birth. Basically, I wasn't really given a choice like what hormones I wanted to go on, because I had to go on hormones during puberty because my body doesn't make enough. I had very low estrogen levels. But I was never given the option to like go in testosterone if I wanted to. It was just kind of like, we're gonna make you into a woman. We're gonna make sure you present as womanly as possible. Like, I've had doctors like critique the size of my boobs and like ask me if I was happy with how big they had grown, and I'm like,
oh my God.
like, I don't really care. But
Yeah, like thanks for asking. Like what?
you saying that makes me care, and all boobs are good boobs. If you say they're not, then you're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
I almost feel like flashing the camera, but I feel like that'd be inappropriate. Just
That's not YouTube friendly.
right, yeah. Well, I was just gonna pull up my shirt and show them my sports bra, but whatever. Sorry, I'm a very dwarf stalker. I'm very open about my body and sexuality, so I apologize. But yeah, that's a big thing. Like doctors, whoever, like people try to fit
They just kind of assume that like I wanted to be a woman, didn't even ask me like my feelings. And honestly, I should have had like therapy for like gender stuff growing up, because they suggested therapy, but it's so expensive that I just wasn't able to have it when I was a kid. Even though I probably needed it. So like through middle school and high school, like through most of high school, I tried to be like the perfect like girly girl, like with the dresses and like makeup. And I just, looking back, a lot of my friends, I talk to them now and they're like, yeah, you seem like really uncomfortable with yourself and you feel much more comfortable now.
I kind of went through a little bit of that in middle school. I tried wearing makeup every day. I was like really a perfectionist about it. If it didn't turn out just right, it was like the worst thing ever.
You take it off and like start over.
Exactly. And I didn't even like wearing makeup. I didn't think it made me look pretty or anything. I just wore it because I thought that's what I was like supposed to do. I just thought I was like bad at being a girl or something, you know? Like
I did too. But like I wear makeup because it's like a form of like creative expression for me. So that's why I don't wear it for anybody else. I just wear it because I enjoy it.
Yeah, and on the very off chance that I do wear makeup, that's why I wear it too, because I want to wear it for me, and you know, I want to look a certain way, not necessarily because I think that I'm ugly without it. I've always, since about like the beginning part of high school, have always been a really big advocate for women who think that they're ugly without makeup. Like, it just, I don't know how to describe it in a good way, but like, it always breaks my heart when women are like, oh, I can't go out, I don't have makeup on. I'm like, okay.
What?
I know, I'm like, okay, and like, you're beautiful without it, so.
I used to be that way, and I that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, my roommate will be like, oh, let's like go grab dinner and a drink, and I'll be like, I don't have makeup on. I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah.
I've gotten a lot better about that because she'll just be like, come on, we're going.
Right, like, come on, let's do this. Like, the makeup that I did for your session was like very, very natural looking.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Thanks. I did it. So when you see those photos, just know that I took them and did their makeup.
Yeah.
I would flip my hair, but I cut it all off a few weeks ago.
That actually, I was gonna bring that up too, because I think when I first started questioning my gender is probably like junior year of high school.
Yeah.
When I like decided to get a pixie cut for the first time.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah. That's what. So I'm trying to think of throughout my life. So I didn't chop my hair all off in 9th grade. It was kind of like, well, okay, to be honest with you, it was the Alice Cullen haircuts. And I really liked Alice Cullen. I was always really drawn to her because there was a part of me that, like, I didn't know it consciously, but she kind of presents as like really androgynous.
I love
you
that
know?
too. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like more like a feminine androgynous, but I always was drawn to that. I was like, ooh, you know? I got that haircut and then it was too much upkeep, so I just grew it out again. But then in college, I like chopped my hair all the way off when I realized that I was pansexual, and I was like, I don't know what it was like the lesbian haircut, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people come out, they like chop their hair sometimes. Like, that's kind of what I did.
I hate when people assume like your sexuality or your gender.
Career haircut.
Like, somebody will see like a cisgender like straight girl and they'll be like, oh, you must be gay, you have short hair. And I'm like,
no, I like this hair, so I cut my hair. Like, hair doesn't have a gender or sexuality attached to it. Like, but yeah, so I did that, and then I grew it all out again because I wanted to have long hair at that point in my life. And then I met Jared, who's my husband, and we got married, and I wanted to have long hair. I still had extensions in it because it wasn't as long as I had wanted it at the time. But yeah, so I did that, and now that I'm like done with wedding stuff, my gender is like kind of fluid, so sometimes I'll go really feminine, sometimes I'll go really masculine, but it's usually over the span of like a few months. So like half of the year I might feel feminine, and the other half I might feel masculine. So I was like, I'm feeling more masculine, but I want a haircut that can go both ways, and so I chopped it off. It was like halfway down my back, and I got it chopped again.
like when we did my shoot last month, I think like last month your hair was like, I forget how long it was like,
yeah, it was like
down to your back.
Yeah. Yeah, I would always put it up in a ponytail every day though, because I started like seeping back into like the masculine like gender fluidity thing that I always do. But I was like, I don't really like wearing my hair down, so I'm gonna put it up. And then I was like, why don't I just chop it? Because I like it being away from my face, you know? So yeah, that's kind of what I did.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I got to introduce you to one of my friends.
Hey y'all.
But I will see you guys soon.